He wants to go to an organization, and as he told me, change the culture. Scenery, obviously, he was able to mature
as Drake Maye showcasing those Patriot threads. Check out the Fam Cam presented by Icy Hot. Michael Penix is an Atlanta Falcon. My goodness.
In Township, Michigan. He is going to Minnesota.
Broncos select Bo Nix.
What's up, everybody on YouTube? AJ Russ back to discuss another video, and today we're going to be talking about my biggest takeaways from the 2024 NFL Draft. Guys, so I know it's been a few days, but bro, the draft was definitely eventful. From some picks that we obviously saw that were going to transpire and happen, to one in the first round that was particularly surprising and really shocking by a lot of people. It was a very eventful day and a very eventful draft, which is really deep, I would say, in terms of the wide receiver core. 6 quarterbacks taken in the first 12 picks, 14 straight offensive players taken before a defensive player in the draft. I mean, it was insane. But then also there was some hidden gems in second rounds and the third rounds, and with every draft there's going to be steals in the later rounds as well. But seeing a player like a JJ McCarthy go to the Vikings, that'll be intriguing, especially with Minnesota only having to trade one pick up to get him. All the rumblings about other team wanting to draft him top 5. I mean, it's crazy what the draft will do because everyone is lying to each other. And it's interesting to see who will be the best player from this draft in a few years from now. Talking about overall quarterback by position, it's a great thing and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Caleb Williams being at the top of the draft, we all saw that happening, and I'll elaborate more on that in a second about his situation. Jaden Daniels, same thing with him in the Commanders. There's some promise with him. Drake Maye, have some thoughts about that as well. But before I do get into the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications. You know we post about your sports, lifestyle, and pop culture. Videos about the NBA, NFL like today, Marvel, DC videos, all types of different content and things of that nature, cooking videos. But before I do get into this video, go check out my boy Mitchell Millimaki. Channel is great. He did some pre-draft breakdowns, and he's also going to assess different players and situations after the draft as well. Had a great video on Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, he had a lot of videos on that, so y'all go check him out. But with that being said, let's talk about the NFL draft. So guys, we're going to talk about the first round really, and these quarterbacks, of course. It was quarterbacks galore. Seeing Caleb Williams go to Chicago, I mean, no one was surprised about that. Really, in my eyes, the best quarterback situation that a rookie will go into that we've seen at least in the past 25 to 30 years. I mean, really since recent memory. Caleb, the assets that he has, and especially with Chicago getting Rome Odunze at the 9th pick from Washington. They have a nice wide receiver trio with DJ Moore, with now Keenan Allen and now Rome Odunze. Also having Cole Kmet. Caleb Williams, I mean, he's in position to thrive as a rookie and win Offensive Rookie of the Year. The NFC North is going to be tougher though, because now you have a guy in terms of a quarterback on every single team. Talking about the Vikings drafting JJ McCarthy, having Jordan Love, who had a stellar second half of the NFL season and played pretty good in the playoffs. Jared Goff and the Lions, they're not going anywhere. Made the NFC Championship game and they were half away from making the Super Bowl. That division is going to be cutthroat, and I do believe Caleb Williams can bring some new hope to Chicago because they've never had a quarterback throw over 4,000 yards in their franchise history, and they're one of the original NFL franchises. So that tells you how long it's been and how crazy it is that they've been so bad at missing quarterbacks, but this is their chance to make things right. They traded Justin Fields. They wanted to restart the clock with a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal to have a chance to contend and not having to pay a quarterback to extension already, which is understandable. But we're gonna see what Caleb does. I know he is very polarizing to a lot of people, I guess because of his attitude and things like that and how he moves himself, but I do believe that he is an Aaron Rodgers type in my opinion. I think that's a perfect comparison for him. A lot of people say Patrick Mahomes. The talent is obviously similar to Mahomes, but I think it's also similar to Rodgers. And if you want to talk about his personality being polarizing, I think it's like Rodgers in a sense too, but also his play style as well, because he's able to go off schedule. A lot of people have made complaints about him not being able to make the simple throws and things of that nature, but especially in 2023 compared to 2022 when he won the Heisman, he had to do more and allocate for more on his team because his team was so slippery. But I think that Caleb, he will be a really good player in the league, and we will see about him being great. He definitely has the potential and keys to, and the hate is crazy. The memes are crazy. I'm not even going to post anything about it or say anything about it. Y'all, if y'all know, y'all know, but Caleb, I think he's going to be cut for real. And by cut, I mean nice in the league. Now, elaborating on the other quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels going to Washington, it's a wait and see type of thing for me. Having Cliff Kingsbury as a quarterbacks coach there, that will be really beneficial for him. In Washington, they did improve their team overall. Having Dan Quinn come in as a head coach, he should be pretty good. I mean, he led the Falcons to the Super Bowl, but we all know what happened there. Blew that 28-3 lead, but that's besides the point. They brought in players on the defensive end like a Bobby Wagner. That was a huge pickup. Stole some players from the Cowboys. The defensive end like Dorrance Armstrong, and also offensively like Tyler Biadasz, who's a center. This team should be better, at least than last year. They should be more competitive, I would say. I wouldn't be surprised if they won like 8 games, 7 to 8 games, but I still don't see them being great. But who knows? The NFL season is so unpredictable. But I like that situation for him. But this is the one that I'm really questionable about. Drake freaking May going to the New England Patriots. The only thing is, I mean, he's obviously a project type of player. You're obviously gonna have to sit him for a year, and you have Jacoby Brissett, so you have that insurance. He just needs to develop his fundamentals because he has a talent. A lot of people like to compare him to a Josh Allen or Justin Herbert in senses. He just needs to have better decision making. And I was seeing stuff about Dan Orlovsky on ESPN just break down his game, talking about his mechanics, talking about his footwork and his stance, just being more fundamental, I would say, and not having to panic and things of that nature. I think that would be the best thing for Drake May, just being able to develop. In terms of other teams that I would like to see him go to, I think that this is the most likely because the rest of them, there was going to be pressure on him to start. And with Jacoby Brissett being there in New England, it'll give Drake May time, but there's not the offensive innovators under this new coaching staff under Gerard Mayo like Minnesota had with Kevin O'Connell or other coaches like that. So it's a wait and see type of thing, but I think Drake May definitely has all the talent. It's just really about these prospects also going into the right situation, and I'm still iffy on that, but there's still promise for Drake May. Now, the next quarterback taken, it's crazy. It caught everyone off guard. I kind of touched to it in the intro, but Michael Penix Jr. going to Atlanta. I think that he was for sure a first-round quarterback, and I think the Raiders really wanted him, but no one saw him going number 8 to Atlanta. I'll have a lot to say about that. People saying it's a bad pick. I don't think it's a bad pick because he has a lot of talent, and his throwing ability is insane, and we saw that on full display in the 2023 college season. But the thing about him going to Atlanta, with them just signing Kirk Cousins, if you knew that you wanted Michael Penix Jr., you saw the potential to get him because you knew you were going to have the 8th pick for a while now, even before you signed Kirk Cousins. If you knew that was a possibility, why even give him all that money? I mean, that's money that you could still have in your books, or you could have allocated in different areas addressing the defense, which a lot of people projected Dallas Turner to be mocked by Atlanta Falcons, but obviously not, and he went to the Vikings, which I think was a great pick, having JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner go to the Vikings. I mean, they're on a come up. But anyways, on the Falcons though, man, I mean, Michael Penix Jr. for me though, he's ready to start now. Like, you have Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles injury, 35, gonna be 36 years old at the start of the 2024 season. Like, dude, if you wanted Michael Penix Jr., you didn't need to give Kirk Cousins that money in early March when you had a thought process of, oh man, we might potentially want Michael Penix Jr. But I mean, it is what it is. If Kirk Cousins plays like 2 years, I mean, Penix will be like 26 in his first year starting. Like I said, he's ready to start now. So that's a controversial pick. I like it in terms of Michael Penix Jr. being able to learn from Kirk Cousins, and also he'll have weapons like Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and things of that nature. Also having Raheem Morris going into his first season as head coach in Atlanta. He is a defensive-minded coach, but he'll have a different type of energy, and he also came from the Sean McVay coaching tree, so we'll see what happens there. But it's a controversial pick. I don't really know how to assess it. I don't blame Kirk Cousins for being frustrated about it, even though he did call Michael Penix after the pick to congratulate him, because Kirk Cousins, he is a stand-up type of guy for sure. But it's definitely a head scratcher. Now, in terms of JJ McCarthy, man, I like the fit. Maybe this will open up the negotiations for Justin Jefferson to sign that contract extension now, because it was a huge question mark after Kirk Cousins decided to sign with Atlanta. But that's really good for them. And JJ McCarthy, he didn't have to do a lot in Michigan. That team under Jim Harbaugh, they were predicated on the run game, going through Blake Corum, being a physical team, and JJ McCarthy made plays when he needed to. Sometimes he had some off-schedule plays that were super impressive, so some teams were impressed with that. He was also the number 5th quarterback in the class of 2021 coming out of high school, so that's another thing. He went to a high-level powerhouse college that didn't rely on him to be a Heisman candidate, but he was able to be efficient in his role, so that's what a lot of people like. And I think that under Kevin O'Connell, JJ McCarthy will thrive. Who knows if he's going to start immediately? You do have Sam Darnold there, so you could have him learn under him from a little bit, and then potentially have the inevitable happen, putting McCarthy into a game and being able to see the rapport that he'll have with players like a Justin Jefferson and a Jordan Addison, who was phenomenal in his rookie season, and a TJ Hawkinson as well. I mean, like I said, I like that fit for McCarthy going to the Vikings. Now, in terms of the last quarterback being picked in the first round, in Bo Nix, nothing really too crazy going to the Broncos. Similarly to Michael Penix Jr., an older quarterback, experience, spent a lot of time in college football, so he'll be ready to start, but I'm not really sure about the Broncos. They have a quarterback room of freaking Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and Ben DiNucci. Does sound pretty down bad in my opinion. And I do believe they just drafted the last quarterback available just because they know darn well they want to trade up, even though Sean Payton was making it seem like they didn't want to trade up, like he was captain or something like that. You know, he wanted to trade to try to get one of those younger quarterbacks, but I think Bo Nix will be able to impact them. They still need a lot of reconstruction on the roster though, so honestly, I would pick them to be last in the AFC West. Even with the Chargers, they had a pretty good draft, which we'll talk about in a few, but Bo Nix going to the Broncos, I mean, if you're a Broncos fan, I wouldn't be just mad about it, but I wouldn't just be head over heels, because sometimes these college quarterbacks who play a long time can be great in the league. Other times they can stink up the joint. Hopefully that's not if you're a Broncos fan, but that wouldn't surprise me. But I'm still not really pleased with how Sean Payton did Russell Wilson and really the organization, because I gave bro that contract and he didn't play bad last year. I understand 2022 he was pretty bad. Like the drop-off was terrible. But the contract thing, I mean, you're signing a contract. I know you wanted to get out of it, and that's why they're eating the cap this year with now Russell being in Pittsburgh, but what direction are the Broncos really going in? So yeah, but they got Bo Nix.
A couple of other quarterbacks I wanted to mention in addition was Jordan Travis in the 5th round going to the New York Jets. I really think that's a great fit for them. Obviously, he suffered that leg injury which ended his season in 2023, but the opportunity for another Jordan to be able to learn under Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Travis, obviously like Jordan Love in Green Bay, that'll be great because we probably expect Aaron Rodgers to be in New York for 2, maybe 3 more seasons, but then Jordan Travis, he can learn. He can get that stewardness from Aaron Rodgers to potentially develop and be the starter in like a 2026 or 2027 and things of that nature. So I like that fit, the New York Jets drafting him. Then also Spencer Rattler going to the New Orleans Saints. Going to be a backup right now behind Derek Carr, but also for him to learn behind Derek Carr, who's one of the greatest individuals in terms of personality and leadership. Isn't the greatest quarterback, doesn't have the most talent, but he is solid and make plays at times. So Spencer to be able to continue to get more mature. There was questions about that. That's why he slipped so late. That's why in college he had so many questions, but he does have great arm talent and could be a potential quarterback of the future for the Saints. And then Joe Milton going to the Patriots. Not too much to elaborate on there. He's a raw prospect. He does have a strong arm, but we know that Drake May was drafted to the Patriots. So I guess that's just some more insurance. And also them having Jacoby Brissett. He'll probably be quarterback 4 because they have Bailey Zappi still. So yeah, but I like some of those moves from the quarterback position as well.
Now talking about the other picks, in my opinion, Marvin Harrison Jr., he was the best prospect in the draft, but the necessity of quarterbacks in the league always puts them at a higher of the list in terms of priority compared to other positions. But Marvin Harrison Jr., he's going to be a huge threat. Wide receiver 1, Kyler Murray easily. He's going to help identify a new culture. Drafted 20 years after Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, the sky isn't even a limit for him in my eyes. We saw how great he was in the 2022-23 season with CJ Stroud in the Sugar Bowl and just really capitalized off of that in 2023. Not even having a legit star power quarterback in that season, he still was able to make great plays, still finished as a finalist for the Heisman Award. He's going to be lethal in the league. I can't wait to watch him. A certified fantasy draft want and need because I know his fantasy numbers will be crazy next season, but he's going to be great, and I'm really excited for Marvin Harrison Jr. His dad played in the league. He knows what it takes to be great. And then next moving to Malik Nabers. Some people really had Malik over Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't agree with that at all, but I definitely see why it was a conversation because Malik Nabers, he has the physical traits, super athletic. I believe had a 40-inch vertical, 4.3 40. A lot of people were using that against Marvin Harrison Jr. because he didn't run his 40 time, but I'm pretty sure it's quick. At the end of the day, it matters what you do on the field, not a 40-yard dash time. But Malik Nabers, he has all the traits, but it's crazy because I know a lot of y'all saw what he said about potentially being drafted to New York.
Going to New York, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but quarterback situation, I know, they're going to figure it out, especially, if they got a caliber receiver coming like me, they're going to want to give me the ball, so I'm sure they're going to want to have a quarterback that can do that.
And yeah, he ended up going there, so he's going to be with Daniel Jones. We'll see what happens this year. I do believe if the Giants stick up the joint again, he'll be gone. They're able to get out that contract and potentially draft a quarterback in 2025 or try to look on the free agent market or even through trades. But Malik, I mean, as long as you go get him the ball, he's going to be a playmaker for sure. In LSU, what he was able to do with Jaden Daniels this past season, I mean, he was truly special. And he should be a huge asset and a huge weapon for the Giants regardless how their season goes. I'm sure he'll be one of the better rookies in the league, but it's tough because I know he probably wanted to go somewhere like the Chargers. Speaking of the Chargers, they got Joe Alt. In my opinion, the best offensive tackle prospect in the draft. 6'7", went to the Chargers. He's going to be a huge piece for their future going forward and how Jim Harbaugh and overall the LA Chargers want to play, predicated on the running game, as you can tell, and then being able to make plays with their QB1 and Justin Herbert. I really do love that pick. A lot of people thought that, like I mentioned, in the path of a wide receiver, similarly to how the Bengals did in 2021, drafting a wide receiver, Jamar Chase. We saw how that worked out. But Jim Harbaugh stayed to his identity, and he also drafted McConkey from Georgia in the 2nd round, so I guess that made up for it. They had a really good draft. You also look at J.C. Latham going to the Tennessee Titans, gonna be protecting Will Levis. That's a good pick. Lou Fatino, sorry if I butchered it, going to the Jets. That's a huge need for Aaron Rodgers and what's usually been a depleted offensive line for them. They signed Tyron Smith, I know, but for the Cowboys, he has been in and out the lineup at times, and he's getting older as well. I believe 33 years old, so that was some good insurance there. Some people mocked Brock Bowers to go there. They made the right decision in my eyes. And speaking of Brock Bowers, him going to the Raiders, interesting fit. They went with best player available. They just drafted Michael Mayer in the 2nd round last year as a Titan, so I guess a 2-Titan set for them. But like I said earlier, they really wanted Michael Penix Jr. I could tell. It kind of sucks that they missed out on him for sure, but it's going to be Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew time. And Gardner Minshew, he is one of the better backups in the league. We saw how he played last year when Anthony Richardson got hurt in Indianapolis. So that's some optimism for them there, but we'll see what decision they decide to make. They got Christian Wilkins, have Max Crosby, still have Devontae Adams and and Jacoby Myers. That team is interesting, but you need a quarterback, especially in that division with Patrick Mahomes, with Justin Herbert. It's cutthroat. I also like Amarius Mims going to the Bengals, just being able to have some more insurance for Joe Burrow, being able to protect him, because we remember in that Super Bowl year, yes, they made the Super Bowl, but he was the most sacked quarterback. So just continuing to protect him. As long as Joe Burrow stays healthy, they're a threat. Byron Murphy Jr. to Seattle, that's a great pick for them. Really identifies their culture. And now having Mike Macdonald as a head coach, who's a defensive coordinator in Baltimore, he's going to be a huge threat for their defense and what they want to do on that side of the field. Jared Verse from Florida State going to the Los Angeles Rams. Aaron Donald just retired. Yes, you can't directly replace him, but just adding in another lethal weapon like that, that's huge for their defense as well. And they also ended up drafting Blake Corum too later in the draft, which was really good for them. I like that pick. Going to be able to have a 2 running back set between Blake Corum, Kyren Williams, along with players like Puka Nacua, still Cooper Kupp, having Matthew Stafford, who's still playing at a great level. Chop Robinson to Miami. Like I just mentioned earlier, they lost Christian Wilkins. Chop, he's an edge, but he's going to be able to help that defense in Miami be more physical and be more brute. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Jacksonville Jaguars is good, especially since they lost Calvin Ridley, who wasn't the most productive, but I think that that's a good pick for them to bring in another wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence, because really I think this is a now or never type of year for Trevor Lawrence, because now in that division, the Texans, they look like the best after winning and the collapse of Jacksonville, and also how the Texans improved in the draft and in free agency. They're on the clock. I love Xavier Worthy going to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have acquired Hollywood Brown in free agency. Now Xavier Worthy, who ran a 4.2 and a 40-yard dash in the NFL Combine. Track team for sure. And also for the Dallas Cowboys, who have been silent in terms of the free agent market besides a couple of players. They were able to draft Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle from the University of Oklahoma. I think that's a good pick for them. 6'7". Some people refer to him as a project type of player. And we heard similar things about Tyler Smith in 2022, but he had to end up being forced to play because of Tyron Smith's injuries. And Tyler Smith, 2 years later, he's been a Pro Bowl tackle in the league, so who knows what Guyton could be. He definitely has all the traits. Sometimes had some holding issues in college, but if he can get that fixed and learn under people like a Zach Martin and the type of development that the Cowboys have been able to do with their offensive line, he could be a real weapon for them as well. Now, real quick, before I give you the biggest winner of the draft in my eyes, I'll give you some picks that I did like or low-key underrated. I mentioned McConkey from Georgia going to the Los Angeles Chargers. That's a good pick because last year with Quentin Johnson, the lack of production from him, they're going to need him to improve, but adding in McConkey takes pressure off of him, and you got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, so they're having a youth culture there under Jim Harbaugh, so I think that was a good fit and good draft pick for them. 89 Mitchell going to the Colts. He definitely slipped. I guess people had some character issues or questions about him from UT, but he has all the traits to be a great wide receiver in this league, and he's going to be a great weapon for Anthony Richardson going forward. Keon Coleman going to the Bills. Love his personality. I don't know if y'all saw that little coat video that he was talking about.
Look, 79, 89. Nice little deal. You can get the trench coat for like $100. Nice little, I'll take it up personally.
Hey, that was real though. I think that he can emerge as the Bills wide receiver one of the future. Has all the traits. Some people mocked him to go in the first round, especially with the trade of Stephon Diggs. He'll be able to step right in and make a huge impact with Josh Allen, with Joe Brady's offensive scheme. Having James Cook there still. I mean, they have a good team. Dalton Kincaid as well at the tight end position. I think Keon Coleman, he's going to be a great fit in Buffalo. Then I also mentioned Blake Corum going to Los Angeles, but not to the Chargers with his old coach, but going to the Rams. That's huge for them. Like I said, him and Kyren Williams are going to be dangerous in the backfield. Those are a few picks that I liked. I also like the Dallas Cowboys getting Cooper Beebe from Kansas State, a guard. He allowed only 2 sacks, I believe, in 2023. 0 in 2022. 2-time Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year. He'll be able to impact the Dallas Cowboys along with Tyler Guyton, potentially. And like I said about the Cowboys a little bit earlier, they have been idle in the free agent market, so really it was quote-unquote all in, like Jerry Jones said, but all in on the draft. And I believe they made some good picks, but they still need to address that running back need. Yeah, they still have Rico Dowdle. Ezekiel Elliott is coming back, a reunion. Did Jerry Jones just fall back in love with Zeke? I mean, he's definitely the running back that can get you those hard chunk yards that the Cowboys struggled with in 2023, but you still need some explosion out the backfield. Maybe Rico Dowdle be able to provide that and step up like Tony Pollard did in 2021 and 2022. But I don't know. You know, the Cowboys are going to be talked about a lot. That was intriguing. But in terms of the team that won the draft, like a lot of the time, it seems like we say this every year, but the Philadelphia freaking Eagles, guys. First of all, they had an amazing free agency getting Saquon Barkley, which no one foresaw. Also bringing back CJ Gardner-Johnson, and they had a pretty good draft last year. But now this year, starting with the 22nd pick, they got Quinyon Mitchell, a cornerback from Toledo, who's very slippery. He's going to be able to learn under Darius Slay, who's getting older, but that's some good knowledge to learn from in terms of the cornerback position. They also got Cooper DeJean as well. Those are 2 cornerbacks in back-to-back rounds from Iowa. He was projected to potentially go in the first round, but slipped a little bit. That's already a great draft right there. They were able to get a running back from Clemson, Will Shipley. I mean, they had a lot of picks, I believe 9 total, which made them very active and was really good for them. We'll see what the Eagles do. There hasn't been a repeat division champion in the NFC East since 2004, so all signs are pointing to say that the Eagles will win a division in 2024. We'll see if they're able to tap into that success that they had in 2022, making a deep postseason run. And now have Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator, who put up a lot of points in his tenure in Dallas. But we'll see how the offensive philosophy transpires in Philadelphia, because it's a little different there. Jalen Hurts is a different quarterback than Dak Prescott. But I'm definitely projecting the Eagles to at least win around 12 games. But they had a major collapse last season, which no one saw coming. So I don't know. But they have definitely had a W off season in terms of free agency market and also the draft. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments down below some of your biggest takeaways from the draft. Who won? Did your favorite team pick some of the prospects that you wanted them to? Are you disappointed? Are you happy with how things transpired? And some of your predictions going into the 2024 season. We're still a few months away, but I promise training camp will be here imminently. Same with the preseason and then going into the regular season. I'm ready, guys. I do love basketball, so that's what I'm watching right now, the NBA playoffs. But love the draft season, love the NFL. There's going to be a potential remaining free agents that are still available who haven't been signed. You know, some teams wait for after the draft to see the market a little bit more closely. So we'll see what happens there. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the 2024 NFL draft. I appreciate you guys watching always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SwaggyRuss, and also on TikTok, SwaggyRuss02 for cooking videos, shorts, content, reels, things of that nature. More stuff is on the way, guys. Wasn't able to post last week because I've been in college finals mode, about to graduate, thank God. About to embark on this journey in sports media, to be a sports journalist. Excited, guys. Expect a lot more content for sure, and we're lit. And also, I want to say thank y'all because I was finally able to apply for monetization. It's all because of God, first and foremost, thank Jesus Christ, but also your support. I mean, it means the world. The channel's been doing great so far in 2024. We're gonna keep elevating, keep going, guys. More is on the way, more fire, more heat on the way, guys. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one. You matter, you are loved, and thank y'all.